Audio and video technology and film and journalism and broadcasting broadly. Individuals that work in the AV communications industry manufacture, sell, rent, design, install, integrate, operate, and repair the equipment of audiovisual communications. They are involved in the presentation of sound, video, and data to groups in such venues as corporate boardrooms, hotels, convention centers, classrooms, theme parks, stadiums, and museums. In the journalism and broadcasting field, news analysts, reporters, and correspondents gather information, prepare stories, and make broadcasts that inform us about local, state, national, and international events, and report on the actions of public officials, corporate executives, special interest groups, and others who exercise power. Broadcast and sound technicians install, test, repair, set up, and operate the electronic equipment used to record and transmit radio and television programs, cable programs, and motion pictures.
Well, I teach 3 different classes. Computer Applications 1, which is basic computer skills, Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, a little bit of PowerPoint. And then Business Essentials, kids get to do a project-based class. It's very hands-on. They develop a business from start to finish. They make a business plan, they do presentations. They actually get to do a competition this year. They'll get to present their business to people and see if people want to invest in it. They come up with ideas on their own of whatever they're going to do. So it's very hands-on. There's some field trips and then some guest speakers. The other class that I teach is financial literacy, and that's teaching students kind of real life skills with checking, savings, investing, retirement, taxes, just kind of a variety of life skills that you'll need after high school.
All right, hi, I'm Mr. Garber. I teach digital media production, which is yearbook. Yearbook's in charge of putting together all the memories of the year and taking pictures of different events. Students learn how to use Mac computers, InDesign, Photoshop, that sort of thing. I also teach newspaper. Newspaper is kind of the same thing, except you get closer deadlines throughout the year. But learning how to do a lot of graphics, how to interview people, take pictures, write a story, that sort of thing. And I teach graphic design, which was known as photojournalism back in the day. And so it's basically a photography class with like graphic design mixed in. And again, you're working on Mac computers, but we learn how to use a digital camera, how to run that in manual mode, how to take different shots, that sort of thing. Also teach beginning journalism, which is like the basic course to get into yearbook and newspaper. In that you'll learn everything journalism, from advertising to design to writing to interviewing, that sort of thing. Other than that, I have an editing block that my main editors can take throughout the day, and that's more of a high-level opportunity for juniors and seniors to take as they get more involved.
So I am Mrs. Jones. One of the classes I teach is graphic design 2D, and last year we did an all-day kindergarten t-shirt design project where students created the t-shirt that all the kindergartners wore around Salina this year, because this was the first year for all-day kindergarten. And so these projects are the students created designs for that particular project. So here is one of the designs. That's the front of the shirt. This is another design. This particular design has a front and a back of the shirt. And so some of them have just the front, some of them have a front and a back. Here is another one. And the students worked together to create these. Some of them were in groups of 4, some of them were in groups of 2 or 3. And some of them ended up in single groups as well. My graphic design 2D students also came up with a business, and so those boards over there we are using for the YEC competition. I also teach OJT, which is on-the-job training. It's for seniors who have a job out in the community and they get a credit for it here at school. And then interns is also another class, career interns, and those students are out at an internship site out in the community where they learn about a career that they would like to possibly go into in the future. Okay, and the difference between OJT and internship is interns do not get paid, but OJT students, they actually get paid for their employment at their jobs. And those students are typically your normal everyday jobs like working at Dillon's or the mall or fast food, those kinds of things. And the internships are generally things that you would have to go to college to pursue. Attorneys, I've had students at schools working with kindergartner teachers. I've had students at the Salina Community Theater. I've had students at local churches. I've had students at pet shops, that kind of thing, at veterinarian offices. So there's a wide variety of internships that you could go into. Again, the internships are also just for seniors like OJT, so it's something you can do your senior year.
People with careers in management and entrepreneurship formulate policies and direct the operations of businesses and corporations, nonprofit institutions, and other organizations. In small firms, the owner or chief executive officer may assume all advertising, promotions, marketing, sales, and public relations responsibilities. In large firms, which may offer numerous products and services nationally or even worldwide, an executive vice president directs overall advertising, promotions, marketing, sales, and public relations policies.
Another class that I teach is marketing, and those students are competing in a YEC competition where they're going to go pitch their business to a panel of judges, and we're going to be doing that actually on Thursday this week, and they're going to be competing against South High as well.
I teach culinary essentials, culinary menus, and culinary professionals. And I also do an internship class. If you're a senior and have completed all of the classes leading up to it, you get to go work or volunteer work in a restaurant in the community a couple of times a week. For school, culinary essentials is our beginning level class. So that would be the first class that you would take in this pathway. And we basically learn the basics of all sorts of cooking. So we do biscuits and muffins and mixing methods and how gluten works and everything. And so it's really a building block for all the rest of the classes that you take. Menus, we make a little more advanced things. You get to kind of choose your own ingredients a little bit more. Professionals is you choose the recipe. Like, I have what we're gonna make, and I say find it. So if we're making like a jambalaya or something, I'm like, okay, we're making jambalaya, find the recipe. And that's what you guys do. So each class builds upon the other.
In the class we cooked different foods and we learned about how to prepare things and what's the difference between dangerous and good things, like temperature danger zone, things like that.
People with careers in design and construction create our future. Designers turn a concept into a set of plans that guide other construction professionals as they continue the building process. These are the people who build and remodel houses, apartments, industrial buildings, warehouses, office buildings, churches, schools, and recreational facilities. This pathway also includes the builders of highways, streets, bridges, tunnels, and airports, as well as power plants, chemical plants, refineries, and mills. Construction is one of the largest industries in the United States. Job opportunities are expected to be excellent in the construction industry. Construction has a very large number of self-employed workers. A career in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics is exciting, challenging, and ever-changing. Learners who pursue one of these career fields will be involved in planning, managing, and providing scientific research and professional and technical services, including laboratory and testing services, and research and development services. Given the critical nature of much of the work in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, job possibilities around even in times of economic downturn, more scientists, technologists, and engineers will be needed to meet environmental regulations and to develop methods of cleaning up existing hazards. A shift in emphasis toward preventing problems rather than controlling those that already exist, as well as increasing public health concerns, also will spur demand for these positions.
Now,
Hello, I'm Mr. Kilgore. You are in my classroom. This is the wood shop. We do a lot of cabinetry work in here. As far as you can tell, some of the projects that we do. Our first project is a clock. We learn a lot of processes during that.
when?
Okay, so in wood shop we can create different things. As far as project wise, we can also, this class is all about getting up and moving around and having a good time. I like to have a good time. I like to create nice things. But if you have a good work ethic, this would be a great class to be in.
So what classes are you teaching here?
I teach advanced welding and basically metals 1. That's all we really have here. I think there's other programs that might be offered. I'm not totally sure.
So what do you do in welding and the other class?
What do we do here in welding? Basically, you take pieces of metal. You can either weld things together like this, or you can just lay beads like that on it. Multiple different things that you guys can do. Lap joints, T-joints. What else you guys want to know?
I know there's different welding. Do you do any welding or one welding?
Oh, there are different processes of welding. There's GMOM, SMOM, and basically TIG welding. SMAW is shielded metal arc welding. GMAW is gas metal arc welding. Basically, you use one of these, these are called electrodes. You weld with these. The other one, I don't think you guys did. Short term for that is me. You guys use this. This is different ways so you guys can weld stuff together. And then we also have a high frequency TIG machine right there.
So how do you weld things?
Well, basically the main part of it is that you have your consumable and you have a power source, and you basically complete a circuit with those, and in turn melt stuff together. That's what you call welding.
Welding class is central. You learn all different kinds of welding, stick welding, MIG welding. It's enjoyable. You get to do projects. You learn a lot of new things. You make a lot of new friends through it. You get to have friendly competitions, earn things here and there. If it's a class you want to take, I'd be taking it. It's a really fun experience.
Line Central, we have 2 pathways in drafting. We have engineering and architecture. The engineering pathway is basic drafting CAD, then we have principles of engineering, and then engineering design. And then the architecture, we design houses, and then there's basic drafting CAD, same introduction course, and then there's architecture, and then research in architecture. And in engineering, we do a lot of like 3D printing and print off big sets of plans that we take to the tech fair every year in engineering and architecture, and that's about it.
Well, which class are you taking?
Engineering. Yeah.
Okay. So what are you building in engineering?
Right now we are building an excavator. We're in a group with two other people, and they're building the trailer to hold our excavator, and it's going to be towed by a semi truck, which Zach is making for the most part. And we're making the design for it, and then it's going to be taken to the wood shop, and they're going to make it in the upper level cabinet making classes. It's pretty sweet. This was made last year. This was actually made in our wood shop. We created the plans for it. Tabor and I did, and then they took it over there, and Kilgore led the building of this.
It's a pretty cool wood truck.
It's functional too. This part. All right.
Can you show us a 3D printer? Or is
That black thing right over there where Zach is standing by. That's what he is on right now. Right here came from our 3D printer. I'm gonna smash it.
Well, I'm in architecture. This is my second year. Just build a house. Whatever idea you want. So I have a downstairs and an upstairs with the middle floor, and yeah, it's fun to build a house because you don't know what you're gonna get until you hit the end. And it's pretty nice that you can, if someone wanted to take these plans, they can build a house themselves.
Do you make large-scale buildings in this?
In this class, no. We just typically do houses. Your first year of architecture, last year, he doesn't do it this year, but we did a garage first. And then we moved on to our smaller scale houses, which is just a one-story ranch-style house with more restrictions. And then once you come onto this class, there's no restrictions at all. You have an upstairs and downstairs. You can have 2 separate houses.
The teaching and training pathway employs some of the most highly educated workers in the labor force. Most of these occupations require licensing or certification. States have varying requirements. Many states offer alternative credentialing programs. Job opportunities for teachers and trainers over the next 10 years is expected to be excellent. In addition to being knowledgeable in their subject, teachers and trainers must have the ability to communicate, inspire trust and confidence, and motivate learners, as well as understand their educational and emotional needs. Teachers must be able to recognize and respond to individual differences in diverse learners and employ different teaching and training methods that will result in higher learner achievement. Family, community, and consumer services careers prepare individuals for employment and career pathways related to families and human needs. Learners need a solid background in communication, science, and technical skills. There are thousands of challenging educational and training opportunities within the high-skilled world of human services. Career areas include social work, therapy, counseling, volunteer coordinators such as nutrition educator, personnel trainer, working with the elderly and youth coordinators such as Girl Scouts and 4-H.
So my name is Mr. Oldnettle. I teach financial literacy. That's a required class for seniors starting next year. In financial literacy, we discuss everything from credit cards to saving to spending. We look at buying versus leasing a car, insurance, investing, all sorts of topics that we hope students graduate with from Salina Central so that they're prepared to go out in the workforce and manage their money a little better.
So I guess we're talking about financial literacy. Well, honestly, we're just learning things we need to do to live life as an adult. Know how to do taxes, credit card bills, car payments, insurance, things that honestly we would not have known trying to go through the regular school system. I like the class. It's good. I know more now than I did before. Like, honestly, I had my mom do my taxes for the last year. But now I feel that I have a better understanding of what I can and probably will do when I graduate and go off as an adult. And I know I could probably, with this class, be more financially stable than I would have without it.
This health science career cluster orients students to careers that promote health, wellness, and diagnosis as well as treat injuries and diseases. Some of the careers involve working directly with people, while others involve research into diseases or collecting and formatting data and information. Work locations are varied and may be in hospitals, medical or dental offices or laboratories, cruise ships, med-evac units, sports arenas, space centers, or within the community. Healthcare is the largest and fastest growing industry in the United States. The healthcare industry employs over 10 million workers in more than 200 careers. The current and projected healthcare workforce shortage is creating a healthcare crisis across the nation. The explosion of technology in healthcare and an unprecedented aging population contribute to the national healthcare workforce shortage.
Alright, so pretty much explain to us what is this class?
What is this class? This class introduces the kids to some of the medical things that they will get, mostly vocabulary, and we just cover and skim everything in the medical world so they can kind of get an idea which direction they would want to go when they are going off to college.
Alright, so what do you like do in this class? Like, what do you guys normally do?
We do a lot of vocabulary. We do a lot of learning about the human body. Like we learned about the skeleton and parts of the skeleton. Right now, students are working on the disease of their choice. And then they'll share their information with the class. So we're using a lot of, trying to implement some technology. So right now, they're sharing that, so everybody's getting their notes, but the students are typing their own notes in.
How do you feel like about like, how you guys? What's your favorite part of this?
When we get to do stuff like she brought out the cuffs and these stethoscopes, and we get to use those, and yeah, we get to see some weird stuff.
Describe weird stuff.
Well, we learned a lot of things that they do in hospitals, and that was kind of weird. I don't want to talk about it. It's pretty bad.
People who work in the animal systems pathway work to develop better, more efficient ways of producing and processing meat, poultry, eggs, and dairy products. They study genetics, nutrition, reproduction, growth, and development of domesticated farm animals. Some individuals inspect and grade livestock, food products, purchase livestock, or work in technical sales or marketing. Others advise agricultural producers on how to upgrade animal housing facilities properly, lower mortality rates, handle waste matter, or increase production of animal products, such as milk or eggs. Animal care workers train, feed, water, groom, bathe, and exercise animals. They also clean, disinfect, and repair their cages. People who work in the power, structural, and technical systems pathway apply knowledge of engineering, hydraulics, pneumatics, electronics, power, structures, and controls to the field of agriculture. They design agricultural structures as well as machinery and equipment. They develop ways to conserve soil and water and to improve the processing of agricultural products.
Okay, so can you explain ag for us?
Okay, so an intro to agriculture, which is the first class that freshmen or sophomores will take, they learn about a whole variety of things with agriculture. So we'll learn about plant science, animal science, we'll get into the shop a little bit, we'll talk about natural resources and wildlife, and anything that has to do with agriculture, to be animals, foods, clothing, and power and structure.
What class is this?
This is Intro to Ag.
And what do you do?
Well, we learn about like stuff, pretty much like an intro to what agriculture is, and it's also epiphyte-based. And so we just learn about agricultural stuff, but we don't get into too detail. We just learn the basics.
Okay, what's your favorite part?
My favorite part of this class is how it's always hands-on most of the time, and it helps me learn better about agriculture.